Hey there gamers, and welcome to my 2019 game room tour. I haven't done one of these in a while and a lot has changed. That said, I've been kind of putting this one off because I'm never really happy with the way my game room turns out. But I think it's as good as it's going to get for now, and I'm starting to stuff enough stuff in here that I really just, it's not going to get any better. It's just not going to get any better. It probably will get worse. So I'm going to do it now and get it over with. Peel the Band-Aid off, if you will. Okay, a couple things real quick. The lighting might be off in parts of this because I'm going to be recording all over the place. Occasionally you might get some blurry video, but I'm going to try and keep it as clear as possible, obviously, but really sorry about that ahead of time. All right, let's get started. Alright, and here is the first rack of games. This is mostly Nintendo stuff, although there are a few other things thrown around in there. So I'm going to go back up to the top for a second. Whoo! Sorry about the shaky cam. Alright, we're going to go up and I want to zoom in up on this top part right here. Right? I'm trying a new camera, so sorry about that. Alright. There we go. We got the U-Force, which I have never actually plugged in. You got my Xbox Elite controller. By the way, you will not see my... Well, I'll show you my Xbox in this tour, but it's not in this room ever. I don't think it's ever been in this room. But anyway, I do have an Xbox One. And I also have a Nintendo Switch, which is not in this room. That is in my bedroom. Alright, GB Boy Color is in there. Box for the Retro Game 97. The Retro Game 97 actually gets used quite a bit, or RS 97 gets used quite a bit. The Atari Flashback Gold. I use a real Atari for recording my videos when I'm doing Atari videos, so it doesn't really get used that much. Up on the top is the Telegames Personal Arcade. I'll show you that in a few minutes. It's out of the box and in my general rack. Over here we have one of my favorite rare Japanese consoles, or at least semi-rare, and that is the Super Cassette Vision. Really neat little system, and I'm probably going to do a video dedicated to that later. You'll see the console in a little bit. Pachinko controllers, other controllers of interest over there is the FC88, which is one of my first Famiclone videos, right there, and I still keep it to this day. Alright, going over here, we've got Wii and Wii U games. I don't have a whole lot of them. That's why I haven't done collection videos on these. I mean, when you got less than 10 games, why bother doing the collection video? At least that's my opinion. Mario Brothers. You know, it's funny though, I'm pretty sure I've had other people's videos that did less than 10 and I liked them, so I guess it's all in the presentation. Next we have the GameCube games. Not a whole lot here. And we got the Donkey Kong Congas. I'll probably be bringing a pair of these to MGC for people to play. I do like those more physical games. They're kind of fun. A little bit of art. Another Wii U game in the back, but it's really up there. Next is my 3DS collection, minus a couple games that I keep in the bedroom for fun because my 3DS stays in the bedroom as well, along with my Vita. I'll have to zoom in on those later. But anyway, here's my 3DS games. And Drunk Hunt. There's also a Virtual Boy game there. I've got a few others in the miscellaneous. I'm going to start... Well, I think I've already mentioned this several times. If you're watching the station, you probably know this. But I've started collecting only boxed stuff. And I'm kind of getting away from having any loose things around. Back up a little bit. There's my SNES collection. Of course, Super Famicom. This is coming up in a video real soon. That's R-Type and R-Type, Super R-Type Collector's Edition. Got that recently. And then there's my box games. Most of those I actually got from Travis from Guys, Games, and Beer. So most of those are actually things that I got as a gift. Got some Game Boy Advance games from Japan. Actually, just one. I'm going to buy more of those probably. Got Arkanoid for the Famicom. A really great thing. Like that a lot. Here's my Famicom Disk System games. I'm big on collecting for that too. I've been picking up more and more lately. I had like 3 games for the longest time, and now it's been getting to be more and more games. Next, we have my Famicom collection. Yeah, I gotta start getting box games for this too. Got a couple of NES games over here. One in a box, Gun-Knack, and my multi-cart, which I tend to bring to shows and stuff. And there's the rest of my NES games. Not a huge collection. I'm not a huge NES collector, to be honest. Down here, we've got a whole bunch of different mobile games. By mobile, I mean handheld, not ones for a cell phone, of course. But I keep a whole bunch of them down here. There's a little bit of everything. There's a little bit of Sega in here. Actually, there's quite a bit of Sega. Somewhere around here I keep my Atari Lynx stuff too, although, you know what, most of my Lynx stuff is boxed now. I think I got rid of the rest. Got a little bit of Game Boy Color. That's not Game Boy Color, but the back, some Game Boy Color in here. And then, of course, I have Game Boy Advance games. And shifting over here, I have Virtual Boy games. I got a few of those. Not a lot, but a tiny bit of them. Again, I'm switching over to box games for that. And just some kind of random crap, which is kind of embarrassing to show. Wish I was more organized. Next, N64 stuff. Not a super exciting collection. If I haven't gone through that, I might do a video on that. Did I do a video on that? I'll have to check that. One more random Game Boy Advance game, which is James Pond, Operation Robocod. If you're gonna have one game box though, that's the one. New 3DS, this isn't really in here, it's just the box. PCFX games, no, I don't play this thing. There is some messed up stuff in this collection, and I don't have much of the good stuff. I'll probably buy a couple more PCFX games just so I have some that I can maybe show without being horribly embarrassed. It's a lot of like just girls in skirts and stuff. It's really weird. What a game system. Down here is some stuff for review. It's in a closed box because I don't want to get it all messed up. Got my PlayStation Dual Stick. There's my leg. This is my knee cap. If you're into knees, there you go. It's your moment. Alright, let's go on to the next rack. Alright, if you're familiar with the station, this is probably what you're used to seeing, at least part of this thing. It's much taller than it looks on camera. It is about 8 feet tall and just packed with stuff. And yes, of course I'm going to go through it. But I'm going to go up this side over here first. And then we'll talk about the specifics in each. I don't think I'm going to go too much into what's up there. You can see that my Neo Geo's up there. It isn't really, of course. I actually have a separate storage thing for those. I keep each of those in a separate case. Safe. There's Video Pinball by Atari. Up there is that Genesis handheld I did a while back. Oculus Rift, not really stored in there. Again, stored in a case. I think I'll show you those a little bit later. Atari 7800, Hello Kitty Dreamcast, which of course is out. That Halo Xbox 360, that one is actually in there because it's not working very well. And there's my Switch box and Missile Command, woo, which is actually a board game. If you're into that kind of thing, which I somewhat am, depending on the board game. And here is a NES Classic boxes, some other boxes. The Game Boy Advanced SP, which that isn't really, that's a fake one. That's a clone. That little guy right there, wait, let's zoom in on that. That little guy is actually in the box. That is one weird little thing there. But it's filled with Game Boy Advance games, that's pretty cool. And it plays them. Some figures, controllers, the Atari Portable, Flashback Portable. Going over here, we got Atari XE stuff. Woo. Another board game. Does happen. This is actually that Atari gift box thing in there. Pull back a little bit, and then we got some Genesis 60 or 26 games. Boy, I can get it wrong when I'm reading it right off the box. That's actually pretty good. That little Arcade Master thing, that thing's fun. I might bring that to MGC one of these years. Also, we've got the Cool Baby. I might bring it this year, which is okay. Next, we have my collection of indie box games. One of my few PC games that I keep around, Star Trek Legacy. I actually like that game. Next, These are for the Arcadia 2001. I'll show you that in a little bit. Pretty neat little game system. One of the rarer things I keep in my collection too. And welcome to Sega Land. We got the 32X, the Genesis, got my Ready Player One book, got miscellaneous Famiclones. By the way, Famiclones, like crazy handhelds all over the place here. I actually keep a Rubbermaid container full of them, and there are just so many of them around here. It's ridiculous. Next, we've got a whole bunch of Dreamcast games. Really, really love the Dreamcast. One of my favorite systems. Got a little bit of the Sega Saturn, Sega CD, Silpede. Neat game. Not everybody's cup of tea, but it's mine. A little bit more Dreamcast over here. Pull back just a little. There we go. Next, we have my Genesis games. I know, kind of pathetic right there. A little bit more of it, though. Some regular Sega Master System games. More Sega Master System stuff. Fix-It Felix Jr. And now, by the way, all these, all this part down has been redone because I kept running out of room. Kind of sad about that. I should have designed it a little bit better. But anyway, here's my PlayStation collection. I do love the PS1. One of my favorite consoles. Don't mention it too much, but I do keep a pretty decent amount of games. It goes all the way there. I got a little jam here now so they don't fall behind there. And then I have to go reaching for them. Here is games for the Super Cassette Vision. Next, we've got a couple BitBoys. Usually the fake BitBoy sits in the corner with them, but I recently was working on a video, so got put away. Woo! A lot of talking. Sorry, guys. All right, Xbox stuff. Regular Xbox. Wait. Back up. There we go. There we go. Better shot. Xbox stuff. Got about one shelf of that. And then we got that I think it's RS-07 arcade. That will be at MGC this year. And then, of course, my PlayStation collection, or my PlayStation 2 collection, which, as you may or may not know, I really cut back on this year. This used to take up probably 3 rows. No, 2 to 3 rows of PS2 stuff. What I did is I just got rid of all the stuff I wasn't using, and it really helped clean this up and get me more room for my other stuff. There's a little pocket station. This controller is going to be reviewed eventually. That's on my to-do list. Let's come down. There's an Ouya in here. I was going to do an Ouya 2019 unboxing. This is one of those rare, like, brown ones. Or semi-rare brown ones. So it was one of the release ones. It's pretty cool. And then we got some Jaguar games. ColecoVision. Who doesn't like ColecoVision? Vita collection, minus a couple of the games that I keep by my bedside. PSP collection, which I've been adding to quite a bit. I really like this particular collection. I got Patapon, Loco Roco, Pursuit Force, which I think is great. Just a bunch of great stuff I think came out on that system. It's a really good system. Next we have Atari 2600 boxed games, of which I've been collecting more and more. In here is an Atari Supercharger, actually Starpath Supercharger. I think before that it was called, crud, I cannot remember the name. I used to know the name of the company, Arcadia Supercharger, but I think they got sued about that name and changed it to Starpath. So what that basically does is adds more, I think it's RAM to the Atari 2600 to allow it to do more complex games. It was amazing in its time. And then, yeah, my Atari 2600 games just, they keep going on behind the other one. Ran out of storage. Someday, I'm going to get these all as boxed, and then I won't have room for anything else. Down on the bottom, we got some 5200 games. I'm not a huge collector of 5200, but when I see them, I grab them. Got my Atari Lynx stuff. I do like the Atari Lynx quite a bit. Next, Vectrex stuff. Love the Vectrex. There's some more Vectrex stuff. I do have a multi-cart for it. That's pretty cool. And then I've got Intellivision. I think I already went across the top, so I'm going to come down a little bit. There's the Virtual Boy. There is a Commodore 64 bread bin in there. I have not tested that one. I used to have like 3 or 4 of them, and that's the one I didn't test, so it's just sitting in there till further notice. Yeah, another Famiclone, and the NES 30 controller. That's a pretty good controller. Down below we have Absolutely Not Mario for copyright reasons. We've got the Boingler. Wait, gotta get that clear. Perfectly, the Boingler. Oh yeah. And then backing up, we got Mortal Kombat. We got the Quake dude. Going down, we've got my my flight stick, which I'm pretty happy with. In the back is an Atari Space Age joystick. That one, nice blurring. There we go. Shouldn't have pointed at it. That Atari Space Age joystick back there, that actually works. That's one of the few good ones out there. Another Atari 5200 controllers in the back. I keep another couple over here in case of an emergency, because you know, 5200 controllers, they never fail, ever. And then, yeah, that NES Power Stick. Down here we have Sonic the Hedgehog, a whole bunch of my handhelds. I'm actually going to add another row up there so I can store them a little bit better. That's coming. Sega Genesis controller. That's a steering wheel. That will be at MGC. I want to do Genesis. Did I say Genesis? All right, Saturn steering wheel. I really want to bring that to MGC this year, so I definitely will. Probably with the Saturn that's sitting down here. This is an Atari 2600 in a box. It is actually in there, and I also keep a Sega Saturn in a rental case, because you never know when you might need to run out with an Atari 2600 or a Sega Saturn. It could happen at any time. Over here to the right, just some miscellaneous stuff. And down a little bit, keyboard for some more miscellaneous stuff. That is my Pico 8 shoved in there. That's going to be at MGC 2. I'll be clearing it up and fixing it up again, as I do every year. And this is my box of controllers. And there's nothing but zillions of controllers in there. Really. Commodore 64. My first ever computer. Mine was not a C though. Mine was a bread bin, bread basket, bread. Yeah, it was a big brown thing. Anyway. And it was pretty great. I absolutely love the Commodore 64. So it lives on in my room. And then this is a Nuon, which is a fairly rare game playing system. I'm still tracking down the controllers. It's going to take forever. I've been kind of following this particular game machine for years. So little by little. I've actually got a couple games for it though. They're hidden around. Next, Atari 2600. That's my Vader. It's among my favorite types of Ataris, although next to it is the Video Arcade 2, which is amazing. I really love the look of that thing, along with its joystick. The cool thing about this joystick is that it's not just, you know, a regular joystick. You can twist it left and right, and it's a paddle. Pretty cool. Next, Atari 5200. Feel free to comment about that below. One tournament arcade stick. This might be at MGC. I'm trying to figure out whether I'm going to take that one or two of these guys. And I'm sorry it's so dusty, and I'm sorry about the camera. But anyway, I might take two of these. That might be cooler, and hook them up to some PlayStations and just, you know, let people fight with each other or shoot. I think that'd be fun. But they're both really durable. I like them both. I know that this one has had some complaints about it for not being perfect. Definitely do not plug this in when the device is on. This one can cause a real problem, but I've had no problems with it. Next, we have the Pandora's box. 2-player, has HDMI out, has VGA out, runs like a few hundred arcade games, including Neo Geo and the CPS games. It's really pretty cool. I like it a lot. This will be at MGC. We'll definitely be hooking this up. My friend Larry also has one, so we'll have two of them so we can support more players. Next over here we have the Amiga, which is a fake Amiga. I don't get time to play it a whole lot. I've been looking for an Amiga 600, so I have an official Amiga in here, and I do have a 500 that's in storage at a buddy's house that we work on every once in a while because it has some issues. Next, we have the Atari XEGS, or ZEGS as we like to call it in the biz. Sorry. So sorry. Probably the gaudiest game system ever made. It's also really a computer. I mean, it's really an Atari XE computer, but I got quite a few games for it now. By quite a few, I mean around 10. But I don't know how much was made for it. But it can run like all the Atari 400 stuff, so that makes it pretty cool. Next, one of my PlayStations. This is not my favorite of the PlayStations, so I'm just going to move on. Here is the Arcadia 2001, which is an ancient video game system that originally did battle with the Atari 2600 and clearly lost. I know it looks a lot like an Intellivision, and people think it's an Intellivision a lot. Has nothing to do with the Intellivision at all, other than some appearance. Next, we've got my PlayStation 2 ceramic white. Really like that one. I think it's pretty. It's kind of a mess right now too. And here is the Dina, and this will run ColecoVision games, and it will run the old Sega SG-1000 games, which is just crazy because they both use the Z80 processor, so it was really easy to run either one on this. It's really poorly built. They often fail. There's not a whole lot of these left in the wild, and by my understanding, a lot of the stock of these that was left got wiped out in a tornado because God hates them. All right, next. Coleco Gemini. This is a fake Atari 2600. Yes, I realize I have too much Atari 2600 stuff in my collection, so I'm probably going to put some of these out back. I already have one Atari 2600 in the back storage, but anyway, we're not going to talk about that one. Next, we're going to talk about the Atari Jaguar, which is a pretty cool little system, even though it is much maligned. I think it's just peachy. 64 bits. Come on, people, do the math. Why couldn't you do the math? Next, we've got the Intellivision 2, which was one of my friend's favorite systems. It was his system growing up. We used to go over to his house and play it. Hey, Vic, if you're watching. Anyway, it's a pretty good game system. This might be at MGC. I'm thinking about bringing it because I don't see the Intellivision represented much there. Super Cassette Vision, best thing in the world. I want to thank Tom, especially because he 3D printed a new cover. I've got the original cover, but it was pretty cracked up. So he 3D printed this one for me, and it looks great, I think. I think it looks really nice. And this one will likely be at MGC as well. I've got the SCART adapter for this, so it looks really great plugged in. Hey, look at another Atari 2600. This time it's the Junior. Man. Alright, I thought I'd get an all-over shot. There's a screen I use most for gaming. I even use it with the retro stuff. Yeah, it's not 100% perfect, but it works okay. I do keep a PVM in the basement in case I really feel like getting real with it, but that doesn't happen that often anymore because it's really heavy to haul up. Really, really heavy. Alright, going across the top, we got an Xbox. You've seen those before. This one's been hacked. Obviously, it is pretty cool though. I put some lights in it. Look at that. Neat, huh? I really like those lights. Really easy to do, by the way. You just find yourself a 5-volt line and then resist it a little bit. Wait, no, you don't need to do it with this one. I only need to do that with blue lights. I'm gonna turn this off because it's loud as all get up. Next, one of my favorite systems in my collection is the TurboGrafx 16. I think it's one of the greatest systems of all time. Yeah, leave your comments before. Actually, time has been kind to this. Very kind. People really love this more than they did back in the day, and I'm glad because it has a lot of great games. If you are looking for just like one really amazingly Japanese system with some really great games, this is the one to go for. It has a lot of wow factor. Next, we have this thing, the PCFX, which was its successor. Oh my, not nearly as good. I'm not going to go too far into it. It had a lot of ability, but they wasted it all on doing like really weird anime games and stuff. It's not real great in my opinion. It does have a couple good shooters and platformers, actually like one of each. for it. So it's neat looking though, isn't it? Looks like a PC. Next, ColecoVision. This is a great system. Love it. Absolutely. Nice 8-bit system. Really kind of kicked butt, to be honest, for its time period. Nice graphics. Like the controllers, they're okay. Unlike the Intellivision controllers, the joystick's put under your palm so you don't feel like you're wasting your wrists away every time you play it. Really not bad. This is another interesting thing for it. This will adapt Atari 2600 controllers to play with your ColecoVision. Generally, you can do that anyway, by the way. You could just plug an Atari 2600 controller in here and expect it to work, but it doesn't have the buttons, so that adds it. Next, Vectrex, which is great. Sorry, camera stuff's over there. Vectrex, great system. If you don't know about this one, I did a video on it a while back. Definitely check it out. It's classic. Hello Kitty Dreamcast. This is one of, I think, 6 Dreamcasts in my collection. All the other ones are white. This one has been hacked to do pretty much anything. It's got a firmware on it that runs anything you throw into it, like, you know, Japanese region games, everything else. It also has it hasn't been permanently hacked to do this, but it has a VGA out cable on it. I also have an HDMI out cable for it when I feel like it. Great system. By the way, if you're wondering if I harmed the original Hello Kitty, I did not. I actually have the original guts for this in storage in a bag, safely put away. The reason why I did that is, number one, I like to look at this one and play it. But number two, this one was going to shows a lot, and I did not want to wear out the original guts playing them, so I put in other guts so as not to do damage. Next, we have the Sega CD and 32X and Genesis. What else can I say about this mess? It's probably the tallest video game system in history. How about that? Great system. The Genesis obviously is a classic. It's weird looking though. Here is my Sega Saturn. This is the Sega Saturn that I generally play, although you can tell I haven't played it in a while. Man, it's dusty. I did some construction in here not too long ago, and I have not dusted off since. Sorry about that. I apologize for the appearance of this particular Sega Saturn. And the Sega Master System, yet another underrated system, which I had because I couldn't afford a NES at the time. I bought this guy first and didn't get a NES until the Super Nintendo was well underway. It's a great game system, by the way. Yet another one of those ones that wasn't as loved in its day as it should have been. It's a pity. And on the bottom shelf, I've got my Wii U. This is my second Wii U. I originally bought one when they first came out, got rid of it, and as I often do, I bought another one. This one I bought kind of in tatters from a Goodwill and cleaned it up, so it's a rescue and it works just fine. Had no problems with it. It's a pretty great little unit. Next, the Wii doesn't get as much play anymore because I've got this guy over here. However, I've got a white one in my bedroom, and we play some games on that one every once in a while. Next, GameCube. That's the Japanese version of the GameCube. I did modify it to play US games because US games is all I have. In this case, I did a permanent mod on it because I knew I wasn't going to use it for anything else. And to be honest, GameCubes are a dime a dozen. You can see it does have, on the bottom, it's got the player, and I do have the disc for the player, so I can actually play some Game Boy Advance games on it. I like this unit a lot. I like the looks of it. Next, we have good old Pokemon here. Wait, clear it up, guys. There we go. There's a Pokemon N64, and I absolutely love this thing too. This one also has been modded. It's a very light mod, however, and can be undone, but it will play the US games. As you can see, it's got a US game in it right now. Here is my Super Famicom with adapter. I also have a regular Super NES laying around here that I use semi-regularly. If I'm recording something in a video, you can bet it's probably not this guy, it's probably my Super NES, because this one's hooked into my giant Switch, which I'll show you in a minute. I like it, nice machine, but by far my favorite of my Nintendo things is, of course, this guy right here, which is the Sharp Famicom disc player. It does play disc games. Really awesome little guy. Love the color. Looks like Christmas right now, doesn't it? It's got a little adapter sticking out of it right now so it can play regular NES games. Again, I've got an old front loader as well laying around that I use for shows and such, but I don't have it on display. So if you're wondering how I tie it all together, there is this Extron, and what this does is takes all of the output from the different game systems, composite ones, and outputs them through one TV. You know, you just select it here, and then I can select the output. Now here's the thing on the output, I can also do component out on the second button here, which I do, ooh, don't do that, which I can do by hitting this button here, and if it happens to have component out and I have a component input put into it, it will send it out through there. Really cool system, makes it basically super easy to set everything up, and I really like it a lot, and it was less than like 200 bucks. So as far as this kind of thing goes, it was really pretty cheap. This is the table where I record a lot of my reviews. It is way smaller than it looks in videos. It's just it's really low to the floor. It's nice because I can do a lot of adjustments from there and I can see angles well, but the negative is, of course, most of the time when I'm recording, I'm like on the floor on my knees. But it works. Alright, now we're going to walk over to my computer desk. This is a new one. I just got the desk, I don't know, a few days back, and it took like crepes forever to put together, like a couple hours. So yeah, I think the results are pretty good. It looks a lot better than the old one, which unfortunately I don't think I have any pictures of. And there is my PC. It's just your basic i7 with a 1070 GTX in it. Nothing super special, but I like it. There's my headphones, which I used to use these for recording, but the mic is so bad I just don't use it anymore. Had a lot of complaints about the sound off of that, and it does have problems. SteelSeries mouse, I swear by these. I've got multiples of these. I've got one for my laptop as well. I really do like it. It's got more of a basic feel, but it's what I'm used to, so I like it a lot. And there's my Logitech keyboard. It's somewhat outdated by today's standards. The kids are all using much smaller ones. One of these days I'll upgrade that. Down there's my Atari 7800. It's often used for Sorry Atari, if not every time. And my monitors. One of these days I'm gonna match these things. I kind of put this one on as like hey look, second monitor idea, and it just kind of stuck there. So then I put that stand on in the back to hold them in place. But one of these days I'll match them as well. And then on top we got your basic Yeti mic, which I use for recordings in all my videos that involve gameplay. There's Peter Tosh. And there, of course, is my gaming chair, which is a kind of nondescript generic. But I like it a lot. I like the looks of it. And then let's back up, get some focus, and you can get an idea of where everything is in my room. There's a bunch of junk in there too. Oh, there's my little Atari cars. And there's all that. all the way around. And that is it. End of the room tour. I want to thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up and subscribe for more. And I'm sorry for the kind of rawness of this. There's not a lot of editing going on. See ya in a couple days.